Hey everybody, it's Jess from Sparkle and Sprinkle, and I'm here this month to share with you our February multi-project kit club. Now you may be wondering why I'm kind of sitting here in the dark. I don't have the light on, but see that little glowing thing behind me? This is what I wanted to share with you. It is our project. It is an upcycled fairy jar. Now, what do I mean by upcycled? Well, it means we're going to be using jars. They're not included in your kit club. You're going to find those jars, and we're going to create these beautiful fairy jars. In addition to the fairy jars, I've created 3 other projects to show to you using these supplies. We got some tags, we got a beautiful card, and I'm going to show you those later on in the video, how you can create them, because this is truly a multi-project kit club this month. We've got tags, we've got cards, and we've got fairy jars. Now, first things first, before we get started, I want you to scavenge your house for either old pasta jars or canning jars. If you're like me, I've got canning jars all over the place. Or, you know, you can find them at your local thrift shop or vintage shop, flea market. Ask your grandma, she probably has a few kicking around. If you really can't find any, empty out a pasta jar. Pasta jars are perfect, just clean and dry, and then we'll get started. So I'm gonna throw it on over to my craft desk, and we're gonna get started on the February multi-project kit. All right, we're ready to get going to make our beautiful fairy jars. So that's just a little more close-up that I just showed you earlier. And I just wanted to go over again what is included with your February kit. So first of all, we are using the ornament glue by Sparkle and Sprinkle. You're going to get the full-size bottle. I'm just going to set that to the side. You are going to get a container of shaved ice, glitter. It's so pretty. You're going to get lavender iris. This is what we're using to coat the inside of our jar. You're also going to get diamond dust glitter. You're going to get some bronze glass glitter. You're going to get a sample of our dimensional glue. 3 artificial tea lights. Because remember, you're able to make up to 3 jars with what we've included. You're going to get some hemp twine. You're going to get a couple of tags. You are going to get a couple of card bases. If you're not into the jars and you just want to make cards and tags, you're going to get that. You are going to get your half sheet of black cardstock so that you can cut all your fairies. You're going to get a half sheet each of the yellow and the gray cardstock so that you can make cards, do whatever you want with it. We've just included extra cardstock for you to have fun with. You're going to get an assortment of pre-cut flower shapes. They may vary. I've just got a whole bunch here cut. We're going to play with those in a bit. And of course, you are going to get a random set of matching fairy dies by Tonic Studios. I have Bella here, but there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ones that you may get in your kit. I've got a couple of the fairies here that I will show you quickly that I just die cut them. So I'll put them over here on the white so that you can see. So we've got that beautiful girl. This one's adorable. It's got a little teddy bear. We've got few more here. So you can see they're all very pretty. They're all going to look so nice in your jar. So whichever one you get, you'll be able to be creative and have fun with them. I just love these dies. They're so cute. Aren't they pretty? This one, Faye and May, I like that. They're twin girls. So you can see they're all about the same size and shape here. So whichever one you end up getting, that is totally going to be random, but you're going to have a lot of fun. Now, I was just going to point out something that I figured out while I was playing with my fairy dies before we get going on our jar, is that the outside of this die will perfectly cut out your stamped image. However, this inside girl is not going to line up to this. This is more to cut out your silhouettes. So if you think that you're going to be able to cut all the little details out with that inside, it's not going to work like that. You're just going to use, because this is a 2-piece set, so you're going to want to use that outside edge to cut out this beautiful girl. Okay, so just a little tip if you pick up some more of those fairy dies, because we've got lots of different ones on the website. So we are going to get started. First things first, we've got to get the glitter into our jar. So I've got a couple in different stages here, so we'll try and work quick with this. It is going to take you a day or two for your glues to dry. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a jar. Now, I got my jars, I'm a canner, so I've got tons of canning jars on hand. I used pint-sized jars for these. You can use bigger ones. However, I would make sure that you have at least one flat side without writing. See, this one's got writing on all 4 sides. And you want your fairy to be able to show through. So if you put your fairy in there after, these numbers are going to be in the way. So you're going to want a jar with at least one flat side. That's where I put my fairy here. If you don't have jars on hand, you can go to your local thrift store. They've usually got tons of jars on hand for really inexpensive, or you can check out Amazon, your local grocery store. Their jars are all over. You can even upcycle a pasta jar or a fruit jar that you have on hand. Make sure it's at least a pint size, which is a 2-cup size, so that your fairies will fit inside. So I'm just going to show you, first of all, because I have jars in different stages here, so we're not here for 3 days. I'm going to show you what you're going to do first. So you're going to take your jar and make sure it's clean and dry. Now you're going to take your ornament glue. It's a pretty easy process, but you're going to have to let it sit for a while till you can work with it for the next step. You are just going to take your glue and start applying it to your jar, inside of your jar. You don't want to use too much because you're going to flip this over and let it drain out, and you don't want to waste all that glue. So what I like to do is fill it, just, put some on the edges. Oh, you can't see me on camera here. We are going to put a whole bunch in there. Now this is a larger jar that I grabbed because I ran out of small size jars. The rest still have jam in them. So you're basically just going to keep turning your jar and letting it coat. Turning your jar and letting it coat. It's going to take you a bit to get that right consistency. Now if you're going to do all 3 jars, I would suggest doing all of them at the same time and letting them drip out at the same time so that you have lots of time. You're not waiting for jars and waiting for jars. So you can see it starts to coat. Where am I? Right there. You're going to coat it. You're going to keep turning your jar, turning your jar, turning your jar, adding a little bit more until everything is coated. Now I've already got a coated jar here that I've actually let drip out. So once it's all coated, you're going to turn it over onto a piece of acetate or something that the glue isn't going to soak into, and it's going to be a coated jar. Once it's all dripped out, it's still tacky inside because it hasn't dried. We're going to take our lavender iris glitter, we're going to pour it in, and you're going to coat the inside of that jar, just like we did with the glue. Now it's hard to show on camera because I can't get it all the way to the top here because I'll be right in the camera, but you can see it's starting to coat in there, and you can add a little bit more, and then you're just going to pour out the excess. So I'm just going to quickly coat this jar. Coat, 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 coat. I'm going to keep pouring that in. You should have enough of the lavender iris to do 3 of the jars. This is my 4th jar that I'm actually coating. So I just like to tap it and make sure it's getting nice and coated in there. When you're letting your jar drip out, you don't need to let it drip forever. I just let mine drip for about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so because I didn't oversaturate it. That looks good. So you can see, I can't really show you in there, but it's all coated with our sparkly glitter, okay? So we're gonna wanna let that dry before we add our fairy inside. Now I wanted to just show you how we're going to add on our shaved ice glitter, which in my original jar, you can see it's at the top here. Okay, that is just like that little shiny top there. So what I did is I actually have a little paint tray. And this is where you'll see I have a little bit, my shaved ice isn't going to look quite like the one that you're going to get because mine's going to look pink. What I didn't realize is I had a whole bunch of pink mica powder in here. And when I tipped this over, I got the mica glitter into my shaved ice or mica powder. So now I've got like tinted pink shaved ice, which is really pretty. And you're going to see in a second the cool effect I created with that. But that is not the idea here. The idea is we want nice crystal ice. So what I like to do is I took the top of my glitter. I'm just going to slide this over here. And I just jumped the edge of my jar into my glue that had dripped out. This is where I originally had my jar upside down and let it drain and drip. So now that I've got that all coated, I'm going to sprinkle the shaved ice on and let it all dry at the same time. Okay, now I've got lots of shadows here for some reason, but anyways, we are just going to sprinkle that on. Now I'm going to show you the accidental effect I created with my jar that's actually already somewhat dried. Now, see, it's so pretty, it's shiny. Mine looks a little pink, but just hold on tight because I'm going to show you the really cool effect what I had happen to me. I ended up creating like birthday cake sprinkles in my glitter and in my shaved ice. It reacted with the glue, and look how cool that is. So if you have some shimmer powders kicking around, you can have a lot of fun with this technique and your ornament glue. You can see it totally sprinkled in there. But this jar is fairly dry to the touch. This is the one we are going to use to adhere our fairy inside. All right, so now we're just gonna clean this up real quick. Now that our jar is drying, you're going to want to go on and, you know, put that aside, work on some other crafts, but then the next day is when we're going to have fun with the fairies and with our flower shaping. All right, you still with me, right? So we are going to take our fairy and let's use, there's so many pretty ones. I think what I like to do was made sure that, see this little guy, she's going to go inside. You could glue it to the outside if you wanted more to see the fairy. This one I glued to the inside, so when you light it up, I'm just going to flip that out. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. You see her shimmering from the inside, right? Like I showed you in the intro. So we are going to, like I said, you could adhere it to the outside like that, or you could add your dimensional glue to the inside of the fairy, and then we're just going to gently set her in. So let's do that really quick here. I'm just using my glass mat. Now it doesn't really matter which side, which side you want to put on your fairy, whatever side points out, because it is just a silhouette. Oh, can't really see me. There we go. We'll go over there. So then you can see, we're just going to add some glue. I love these glass mats because if you have glue, it is an easy cleanup after. Don't you love upcycling projects, stuff that you can use, that you have around your house, that you can incorporate your own crafts into? Isn't that cool? All right, so we're just going to take the fairy and we're going to gently set her in. She's just set in there, and then gently, I like to take a tweezer or a pen or something like that and just press the glue down because we don't want to disturb our glitter if it isn't quite dry. This one I just did this morning. It's been sitting for a couple hours, so I don't want to disturb my glitter too much. And there we go. I think I've got her all tucked in, and then you can see this is all going to dry. So again, you're going to have to set it aside to dry. and then we'll move on to our flowers. So I just did some really basic flower shaping. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to show you how to use random tools that you might have. Now we have a few of these left on the website. They are the Tonic Floral Creatives. I believe there's only 2 sets left, so if you wanted to pick those up, you get a tweezer, you get these 3 flower shaping tools, and the mat to shape your flowers. So what I like to do is I'll just grab a flower, make sure I'm on camera here, and I just play. So I'll take like the small side of the stylus, and you're just gonna rub in your leaves. And then you can take the ball of the stylus and you can start to see the flowers will start to shape. They'll get dimension. You could leave it like this. I like to flip it over and kind of add a little more reverse on the petals. And then you've got a beautiful flower shape. Now on some of the flowers, I dipped it in, I used dimensional glue, and I'm gonna just show you this other sample here, what I did. And I took the diamond dust glitter and just went around the edge, and that was the bronze glass glitter. Same with this, I just put some bronze glass glitter in the center. Same with these guys. You can just decorate up really subtle hints. Now I'm going to show you how I did this flower here. Is I actually took my flower shape and I actually sprayed it with some water. And then I started I shaped it a little bit. The reason I sprayed it with water was to just make that paper a little more pliable. I'm just using the big ball end here. A little more pliable. And then what I did is I took the flower and pinched. Okay, so because it's wet, you can kind of shape your leaves, you can kind of get it to go, and then I just added a little bit of glue in the center, pinched it, and set it aside to dry. You have to be patient with this project, and no 2 jars will look alike. You can totally give them to get as gifts for your friends. It would be a cool birthday party activity for your daughter. Lots of fun things. So yeah, I just, you know, kept making my flowers. I layered up some of my flowers. And then once they're, so if you wanted to layer those, we could just take this guy that we did here and add it together. You're gonna get about 15 assorted flowers, some in yellow, some in gray. And then all I did around this jar is I tied my twine. You're gonna get quite a bit of twine. And then I took a hot glue gun and I hot glued them on. The reason I hot glued them is it's just a little more instantaneous and I don't have to worry about them sliding down the jar. It was just you could just use regular glue and keep it on its side. I love hot glue for finishing projects like this. So you can totally see how fun and beautiful and unique these are going to be. Now I don't want to drop a tea light in there, the one we just glued, just because it's not quite done. Remember, you're getting 3 tea lights in your kit, but I'm just gonna see. There's the one we just did. Look how pretty she is, our little ballerina girl. I just put the tea light in there really quick. Let's see, maybe I can just drop it straight down. There. She's not quite finishing dried, but you can see she's going to be very beautiful. Now, if you don't really like the flower colors we use, obviously you can use your own paper and your own die cuts. Now, I have these 3 little random tools out here because remember I told you I was going to show you how to shape your flowers if you don't have flower shaping tools. So again, I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of water. And now I've got some random things here. I've got a pen, your standard pen. I've got a water brush, and I've got actually a glitter marker. Now, each of these has a different little tip, and you're just going to do the exact same way. I'm going to get in the light here. You would just kind of, you know, rub and rub. And then you could use whatever side here. And then we're just gonna scrunch that together. So you don't need the fancy shaping tools to make your flowers. We'll just do one dry. You're basically dry embossing them. You can see your pen will shape it too. You just have to be a little more patient when using the pen versus the styluses, because the styluses have that nice round ball tip and different sizes, so you could really shape your petals. But yeah, you can totally see that it works very similarly to using our ball tools. So there is a little tip on using your own, what you already have. So then that is what our project is. You've got it all glued together and it's so pretty. I'm just going to show you a few other options that I made with some of the things that come in your kit. So maybe you're not quite into the upcycled jars, and that's fine. Not everybody is into it. But we're including 3 tags for you to play with. And because you get that stamp, I just use the VersaFine Claire in Cheerful, which is not included, but you can pick it up on the website. And I just stamped the fairy really quick here, and I added some of my beautiful flowers. Now I could either tie that onto my jar and put a little to and from. I can use it as a gift tag. This one, I just die cut my fairy and put a little of the glass glitter around her to finish it off. Just, you know, plain, very simple. Tied a little of the twine in there. And you're also getting in this fabulous kit, you're getting card bases. So I quickly did a card. I used the fairy and I put glass glitter in her wings and just added with the dimensional glue a few little drops there, some of these beautiful flowers that I shaped. And because we included the sheets of cardstock, you can easily make backgrounds and layer up your card. And you can make 3 of these. So you could give it as a gift set. You could put your tag on your jar, you know, and have a little to and from. Great little hostess gift, get together, thank you gift. They're just so pretty and so sparkly. And I know you're gonna have a lot of fun making your jars. There is there on this side. This is my accidental birthday cake jar, but you can see I'm gonna have a lot of very pretty fairy jars in my house, and I'm so excited to make more. You'll definitely have extra supplies. You know, there's still some of my lavender iris, and I still have enough to probably do a 4th jar. And again, I use the pint-sized jar. So if you use a huge jar, obviously, you know, you could use, this is the one where the glue isn't, but you could put multiple fairies in a big jar. There's lots of different options that you can do. And I'd love to see what you create with your February Multi-Project Kit Club. Thanks for stopping in and checking it out. Thanks for your patience. Thank you for being patient with me as I get the hang of doing these kits. This is my very first one, and I look forward to creating more multi-projects in the upcoming months. So all the links are in the box below. You can go subscribe. You can buy a one-off. I'd love for you to subscribe because I got so many awesome ideas coming up in the next few months that you are just going to love, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day, everybody, and I can't wait to see your jars, your upcycled fairy jars. See you again soon.